Joining me today on Startup Report is the founder and CEO of Global Village, Sven Boermeester. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we've known each other for quite a while, and it's been fun to watch what you do evolve into some really cool stuff with your books, and now moving into blockchain-based stuff like the NFTs and the metaverse. But to get us familiar with how the journey started, it started with doing best of books for cities, of which I have one right here. This is not a best of book. This is what emerged. You've got one there. There we go. Yeah, good old Tampa Bay. Yeah. So you started this business in South Africa, and tell us a little bit about the model first.
Sure. I've always been in publishing. It was really just a passion to go see the world. We started a book. I was actually living in New Zealand at the time, and we did a book in New Zealand for the America's Cup to show, it's like a corporate gift to show to all the rich people that were coming to town. Right. Everything about New Zealand, the love story, economic love story they were. Yeah. And then we realized, well, every city needs an economic love story. So I spent 15 years sort of traveling the globe, publishing best of 60 different cities around the world. And I was always shopping for a place to live along the road. And then when I ended up here, it was time to do Best of Tampa Bay, and I thought, let me come check it out. Yeah, do Best of Tampa Bay. Kind of fell in love with the place, and ended up staying. So
that's cool. And then the general format of the books, they're larger coffee table style books. You've got a lot of great photos in there, and you break it up into different sections and talk about some of the great businesses and people and attractions and politicians and just noteworthy figures and organizations in each city. So it is really a celebration of the area.
Correct.
Yeah. And originally the business model, we talk about, you did build it into a pretty successful business, very successful business. Originally it was, sort of an advertising vehicle, but you then found a better way to do it. You switched gears on it to really take on more of a true publishing angle.
Yeah, so we published a lot of books in emerging economies, and the pay-to-play model and advertising and sponsorship was how these books and all magazines, this is how we were brought up publishing, right, selling ads. And then when I came to the States, you kind of saw that model dwindling a bit. This whole pay-to-play had a bad taste in people's mouth. So we thought we'll take a risk and just remove that altogether. So basically, we'll have credible people within the community nominate who should be in the book. So it's not about who paid to go in the book, it's who has really a great story to go in there. And then we produce a book that people want to buy. And if you produce a book that works, that has all the great stories, then people buy them. We sold them at $85, and in the end, we ended up selling more books than we could selling advertising in the first place. So we never looked back, and that's been a great way to grow the model, because in each city, as we start a new book, people say, "Hey, is this a pay-to-play game?" And when they say no, it's completely free. People just buy books if you like it, then they will love it, and we don't get any resistance. So it's just it's an easy way to do it.
Right, and then that model actually, when you move into a new city, you kind of have to know who to include, right? And so that opened the door for you getting great partnerships with chambers of commerce and professional organizations and folks who kind of had a lay of the land and could then add value to their mission and brand as well by being your sort of partner in each city.
Yeah, so often it would be tech councils, played a big deal in the early part. Also organizations like Synapse, with Mark Blumenthal and Andy Hafer and Brian Kornfeld. Right in the early days when Best of Tampa Bay was complete, I sat around the table with them when Synapse was just a thought, right? And we said, okay, Sven, can you please publish a book on innovation ecosystems? And, it was actually Mark that helped push me to do this, because that was actually just a chapter in the best of. And I knew there was a lot more meat on that bone to publish a whole book on it. But he kind of pushed me over the edge and said, right, you do that, we're going to do Synapse. And then we kind of been friends and semi-partners ever since, they're a big part of me staying here and being successful. So I'm very grateful to them.
That's great. Yeah, Mark's been a great friend. And that was the genesis of what has become really the major focus of the business, these innovation books. You published the one here, and then you've moved to other cities in Florida. And so what's been the trajectory of the innovation series?
I didn't realize, I thought it was a one-off, to do a favor to the city and let's map it out and see what happens. Synapse obviously had many plans to grow into Florida. So then Mark said, hey, go do Miami, go do Jacksonville, go do Orlando. And, so we kind of grew it in the Florida. So the next year 2 was, let's do all the Florida books. But as these books got purchased and corporate gifted to people all around the world and all around America, we ended up getting calls from Jefferson University. The dean in Philadelphia said, hey, we want a book for Philadelphia, please. Then people in Toronto, and suddenly it became viral. So we went from 1 book to 5 books to 20, and now 4.5 years later, we're working on 50. And every month a new city comes on board. So we got lucky and realized it would be as viral.
Yeah. And the cool thing about doing books on innovation is you actually get to be innovative, and so that has now sprung forth out of this. And blockchain is emerging right now, and it's a big thing. And with that comes things like NFTs and other ways to be innovative in how you present this content. You've had some particular success with the one in South Africa that's about to launch. So talk about a few things that have sprung forth beyond books.
We can, if you look at the size of the market, there's 10,000 cities in the world. And if we publish only 10% of that, that's 1,000 ecosystems just in city books. Industry books have also now started being published. We do the AI Quebec for the Quebec government, which is the top 100 AI companies. We've just finished a book, Gaming and Esports, with Marcus Howard. Now we're working on a book on blockchain. So all industry books are ecosystems too. So there's a whole roadmap of more publishing to do. But as we get to know all these innovators, and blockchain's kind of been my partner, Cully. He's also South African. He lives in Vancouver now. He's been mining Bitcoin in his garage from day dot. And most of us South Africans, when we left South Africa, we had to use Bitcoin and Ripple and whatever we could, because we had to move South African rands to dollars, and there was an exchange control, so we were forced to use the blockchain. And for many of us, that forced us into that ecosystem, and luckily we did well, because it was just at the time when it all blew up. So it was a great experience. So we decided, right, let's publish a book on innovations in the blockchain, and really meet who's who, and start building things as well, because while we can sit and publish books, till the cows come home, city per city, it's those databases that we want to connect to. We want these innovators to talk to each other, and we want to create a membership and a metaverse where, think of an innovation university or meeting place where all these people can connect, and all the people that are featured in the blockchain book, they all want to help us build that. That's one thing about the blockchain community. They're really, they're all about mass adoption, and we're all helping each other. So these books have now become NFTs. You can mint them on OpenSea, and you can turn them and twist them. And we're really this close to actually building a library in there. And obviously we have to get into the whole NFT game as far as our membership is concerned. So, we don't just want to publish innovation, we want to be innovative too. I mean, the book's old school, but we've got to make sure that we get innovative beyond the book.
Right. And I think you mentioned in South Africa, you are going to be doing even a documentary series as well. So you're just expanding the way you're celebrating the different people that participate in the books.
Yeah. Obviously a lot of our team, this are South African. Myself, my partner Cully, we're South African. A lot of South Africans have moved and live all around the world now. But our production team has remained there. So all our design and editing has been there for years. And we're on 50 ecosystems, and we still haven't done Innovate South Africa. Then finally, people there were saying, "Hey, can you please publish your own country?"
Sure.
So we started about 6 months ago. Much to our surprise, literally the whole country came on board. We were full up. We're already on volume 2. We haven't gone to print yet. So the excitement there is there's so much innovation happening in South Africa, but they also get a bad rap because South Africa, with the crime and the corruption, and so they're really fighting to brush off this negative image. I wouldn't say it's full of Elon Musk, but a lot of entrepreneurial people there, and so there's a lot to do there. And with that success, we got enough investment to turn it into a 13-series documentary. We flighted on the national broadcasting television stations there. And that template of turning the books into a documentary series, we will then do with the other books as well. So actually, start a TV channel. It's like Cartoon Network. This is Innovation Network.
Yeah, That's great. And what, and what the sort of modern world makes happen, whether you intend it or not, is that media communities can form around media, and we have that here with the Catalyst and what we're intending to build with MetaCity. And what you're talking about is connecting. You came to cities and connected through media, but now you're going a step further through the website and the membership to connect the cities with each other around this common theme that's emerged from the media. So, how do you see the value prop for the company growing as you connect cities with each other and professionals with each other and companies with each other?
Well, as far as the Innovate as a brand, we've had it trademarked. It's a little bit like looking at it's a mixture of the Inc. 5000, but we'll be the Innovate 100,000, because I think we're on 10,000 stories now, and then the way that it's going, in a few years' time, we'll have 100,000 innovation stories from around the world, and these are all smart individuals that want to talk to each other. So. But the brand's important, growing that. Yep. And then from that, we can, launch memberships, a bit like the Young Entrepreneurs Organization, think of that model, but for innovators. And then adding on, TV series and events and whatever comes next, really. It's about starting off with a brand. The books are obviously the hard work, but that brings in the databases and builds the brand, and then we can really plug it just about anything on there, right? And just finish that puzzle.
And it seems like the events would be a great next step too. It's a natural fit as well. Do you see that being a big part of what you do in the future?
Yes. We throw usually a launch party. I mean, with COVID a little bit less, but we're getting back into that when the book comes out. We'll throw a big party, invite everyone in the book, for a night of cocktails and snacks, and that's a great networking event. And that's that's sort of been our events. But now in South Africa, if we reach markets where there isn't a synapse, and we see a gap that that needs to be in place, so we will be technically building a small synapse, if you will, in South Africa. Our launch party will become a 2-day event. From there, they're already wanting to coin it Innovation Week Cape Town. So in certain regions, if there's space, we will throw the event and be it. If not, we partner with synapses and work in conjunction with them. All right, so it's. But either way, we have to be connected.
That's great. And so as you sit now, having gone from through the journey of doing city books to these different, innovation books and other themed books, branching into NFTs, branching into connected memberships, branching into events, as you sit right now ready to walk the next couple of years' path, what are you most looking forward to? What do you think is going to be the thing that gives you the most zing, I guess, over the next couple of years?
I think it's just really finishing the puzzle. We don't seem to have much competition in book publishing. No one's doing what we're doing. We seem to have, we're on our own. One, because I think it's relatively hard to do. It's a lot of hard work. And
it's a unique format, yeah.
So I don't think people can copy that model that easy anymore. So at least we can just carry on with our business model and not have to worry too much about the competition.
Yep.
The innovation, of course, is never ending. I mean, that's just, there's no end. So it's just learning and building databases, seeing the world some more, which I'm getting a little bit tired of all the travel, but
105 countries. Is that
105 now?
105 countries, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I've also found Tampa Bay as my home now. So, I don't really like to leave anymore. So, but luckily, with the COVID and it used to be a lot of these books were done face to face, meetings to get people in there. And now, thanks to COVID, everything's on Zoom. So, it's actually speeded up our business model dramatically. And, it's, and through COVID, we were lucky enough to grow. In the first couple of months, it hurt a bit because, we're like, oh, is anything going to happen? But then after about 6 months, suddenly we realized that COVID wasn't a problem for our business model, and we grew during COVID. So
that's great.
Lucky on that.
And we'll give a tiny tease to a new project I think is really innovative and cool. And it relates back. It's an NFT project to benefit startups. I don't think we'll say more than that now, but we'll look forward to having you back to dig into that project, because from what I know of it thus far, I think it is really very innovative and has a lot of wind built into it. So, Sven Boermeester, It's always good to see you, and congrats on the success of the series and the new projects. And we'll look forward to following your success. And glad you're staying in Tampa Bay.
Thanks, Josh.